All right, I'm excited to have Hilary Jastram. Did I just say that, or did I just murder that last name?
You maybe murdered it
I
just a
think I
little bit.
murdered it. Jastram, right?
Jastram.
Yeah,
Yep.
I don't know. I tongue-tied or something like that. Hilary Jastram
You
here
got
with
it.
me today. She is amazing. And
Oh.
she is. I've been working with her for just only a short time after a month, I would say, a month and a half, maybe something like that, or just over a month, and it's been amazing. And we've built this incredible friendship already in just that short amount of time. We both live in the great state of Minnesota,
Oh no.
uh, which is yeah, just interesting little known fact for all of you listening out there. But yeah, thank you, Hilary, for being here.
Oh my gosh, it's my absolute pleasure. I'm so honored to be here. And it's like, I don't even know what it was like to not work with you. Like, we just gel on so many levels, and it's so cool. And we live in the land of like mayo and jellified fish and lutefisk. It's so great,
Yeah,
right?
that's right. Yes, I love it. Ludafish. I can't
Yeah.
even like fake that accent, but it is awesome. Um, so yeah, so well, this podcast, it's called Championship Leadership, and maybe you'd like to start off with what are your thoughts around championship leadership, or even maybe who are some people in your life that would qualify as a championship leader?
Well, I would hold a mirror up to yourself, brother,
Oh,
because
come
you're
on.
one of them. Oh my God. Well, you've accomplished so much. So I want to touch on that. I want people to know that. You've accomplished so much in a month and a half. You're a columnist, a freaking columnist, not a contributor, a
Yeah,
columnist at
that's
the Goodman
crazy.
Project. You were just accepted to Addicted to Success, which is one of Australia's largest entrepreneurial magazines. You are murdering it with your content. You're just killing it. So people need to look to you for that example of like, just do it. Like, you're not thinking, there's never been a day where you and I have talked where it's been like, oh, I have doubts and I'm not really sure. And what do you think? You're like, we're doing this. We're going to hammer it out. And away we go. And it's fantastic. So I would put you
Well,
right there
thank
with
you.
the leaders. Yes. Yes. And we, like, I don't know if we should call him like our fathership, maybe like Reince Goodman is,
Yeah.
and everywhere I go, it's like Ryan gets free advertising. He's like a walking billboard. But it's true. He has taught me a lot in the 2+ years that I've worked with him. I would not be where I am today were it not for him. And there was a point, I don't know if you know the movie Sliding Doors. It's an older movie, and you know what? I've never seen it, so to talk about it in reference is ridiculous. But it's, I believe it's Gwyneth Paltrow, and it's her examining her life of if she goes in this door, her life goes this way. If she goes in the door to the left, for example, her life goes the other way. And it's interesting because Ryan and I had a moment where we both tried to fire each other. And
Yeah.
I think back to that of how different life would be, because we have to look to our leaders to pull us through the hard truths about ourselves. So I would put him up there. Um,
Absolutely. Yeah.
he is a huge influence in my life, and I follow everything. It's not like a automatic dogma, like I'm not brainwashed. I can make my own decisions. But he's one. Lisa Hickey of the CEO and publisher of the Goodman Project is another one. She's a strong woman. She is not afraid to speak her mind. She's carving out a place for herself and for other women
Yeah.
in publishing and in entrepreneurialism. And she is supporting these really difficult conversations that we need to have in order to come together and understand each other. So she's amazing. You know her.
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah. Well, there's so much. There is so much right there that you just were talking about. Number one, yeah, Reince Goodman. He was one of the very first guests I had on the podcast,
Yes, he's
and he is
funny.
definitely the link between me and you. Like, if it's not for him, I'd never hear about you. More
Yep.
than likely. Well, I shouldn't say never, but that's who I
Well,
found out.
yeah.
That's how I got connected with you. And then yeah, just the column with Goodman Project, and then that's yeah, if I have a superpower, it's just like, okay, I'll do it. Like you tell me to go do it and I'll just do it. And
Yeah.
I'm always like, oh, I don't think it's probably all that great, or I'm sure there's a lot of edits that will have to be done, but I just kind of throw out my thoughts and send it to you, and then you make the magic happen. So it's been fun because I just started that as I just want to blog and put some content out there, and all of a sudden you're telling me to go do this and this, and all that other stuff has kind of happened along the way pretty fast. So it's been fun.
Well, it's interesting because that's how we all see ourselves. We all see ourselves as like, well, I don't get it. It's just me. It's me. I wake up every day. I know the vulnerable pieces of myself when I get out of bed, when I trip up the stairs, when I choke on a mouthful of water. I mean, and so then when you put those two things together of how am I supposed to be a thought leader when I have all these human vulnerabilities, they seem to be at odds with each other. But actually, I think that's what makes it even more beautiful, because people can see the true steps in your journey. You're not outside sitting in a fake car, outside a home that is right, a
Yeah.
home that's been listed.
People
You're
really
not.
do that.
I mean, I heard that. I was
I
like,
know
that's
everybody talks about it. I'm like, I can't even imagine doing something like that, but I'm sure there are a lot of people that do it. Yeah.
it's crazy. Just can you think of like your to-do list, like find fake house, like what does that even look
Just the
like?
fact that the thought like that would come through my head, I would like, I don't know, I'd have to slap myself, I think.
You a little bit like, are you a little bit extra? Yes, I
Yeah.
am. And how much energy would that take
Oh,
too? Like, I don't have
no kidding.
energy to do that. That's
Yeah.
crazy. That's crazy.
Well, championship leadership, I think of you, and I got a book here that you've been working on, and I've been just started reading this, and actually
Awesome.
the other piece
Thank
that
you.
you talked about, what was it called? You call it sliding doors, where Gwyneth Paltrow is like, this door takes me here, that door takes me there. That's usually basically the exact same question I ask every one of my guests towards the end. And here are you doing your homework, or did that just happen? Like,
Mind meld,
yeah.
look into the camera.
And because, we all have those points in our life, right? We probably have them every single day if you
Yes.
really want to dig deep. But yeah, reading your book, I've heard the story on your podcast. I've probably heard Stuman talk about it once or twice before. But yeah, talk to that real quick, because number one, there was a bunch of things happening there. Ryan Stuman was being a championship leader by having the courage to say that and to
Yep.
confront you like that. And then there's a big piece of you that is as well in how you responded to it. Leaders will respond in those moments a certain way that will ultimately bring them to where they are today. So, yeah, you talked
So
about.
yeah, it's I was sick of myself. Let's just put it that way. I was sick of my own crap. I was sick of making excuses. I was sick of blaming other people and then wondering why life wasn't changing. So I wasn't always like this. I've had it hammered into me with a really tough childhood, people in my circle that just demonstrated conditional love. And which, by the way, that's supposed to be the opposite. I don't know if people know that, but just an FYI. I had to open. I think it's really important to open. And it's not to open to say, I'm getting ready to learn I'm wrong. It's to say, I'm open to receiving what I don't know. I'm just going to be open to that, whatever that means. And whatever path you're on, whether it was Ryan saying to me, you got to work harder, you got to be tougher, you got to do this. And I was like, who are you to talk to me? Let me adjust my crown for a minute, and then it was like, all right, this is a saying that I have in my life. How'd that work out for you last time? And so you kind of go back, you kind of time travel, and you think,
Yeah.
wow, I was really brash this time. Wow, I was really insistent that time. Wow, I was really intractable this time. So at that point, I was like, I'm just going to remain open, because you can crave, and a lot of people say this, well, I crave critique. I crave knowing how I can do it better. And then when you tell them,
People say that, I would call BS on that, but
there's some people that do. I'm one of them. I'm like,
you
hey,
crave it, really?
I do, because it helps me get better. I
Yeah.
crave it. I don't
Well, there's
crave.
one thing to be open to it and another to like actually crave it.
I don't crave criticism. Let's make that abundantly clear. But
Yeah.
critique about,
If you know
this
it's
is
coming from a good
effective.
place.
Yeah, absolutely. Because we can get into ruts where we're like, this is great. We're doing it great. It's working great. We're just going to keep on doing this, you know? And I was in a business like that where I came in there like, we want freshness, and we want fresh ideas. And they said, but this is the way we've always done it. We're going to keep doing it this way. That's a comfort zone thing. So it's changing the self-talk. It's being open, and it's being really forgiving with yourself too, to say what I'm going to find out is going to help me. It's not meant to hurt me. And we have a choice as to how much pain we feel. We have that choice. We have that decision that we can make. And so if you can enter into it in that way, it doesn't hurt as much. It's not going to kill you. You're not going to drop dead from it, right? It's not going to embarrass you, because you're in charge of that too. You're in charge of the perception that you develop in other people, which is truly none of your business, right? And it does nothing but hold you back, or it feeds something, like we see with social media, like so-and-so thinks this way about me. Who cares? How do you think about yourself?
Yeah,
So
absolutely.
that's a huge component, I believe, of being a leader, is to be open, because we don't know everything. So then we can share with other people, I've just learned this, and here's what helped me to learn it, and so forth. And then you become a ripple.
Yeah, I just wrote a blog about that here recently, partly about that, about being, in the 5 rules for addicted to success is to be open, and to be open to the things that you don't know. And
Yeah.
a true leader will be open to those things, because you can only grow and be so good and lead so many, thinking that you have all the answers, right?
Oh my gosh. Yeah. And you have, as a leader, you have a responsibility to keep learning yourself, because you can't be a stagnant leader. I think that's a paradox, where they're like, that doesn't even exist. A leader is we'll say a good leader, because somebody can be called a leader and then be like a dictator, you know?
Leader.
Yeah. Championship leader is constantly learning and recognizing that's a responsibility. You know, I'm with SickBiz. We introduced a guy today who dives deeper into lab testing, to not just say we're identifying this symptom and we're going to treat it, but he goes deeper into the cause. So it's my job as a leader, an admin in SickBiz, to say, I am remaining open to hearing about this, and then I'm going to share it. There's no obligation, but I'm going to share the knowledge that I have. And I'm not saying what you're doing is wrong, but you need that knowledge. We all need additional knowledge, and we get so defensive. I don't need that knowledge. I know I've done it 18 years and it's worked fine, you know, and it's like, what is the big deal? Let's be open to each other. This is a true population of collaboration.
And especially, it can especially be true for those that are seen as leaders in their industry or in social media. I don't know, because I think the initial thought for a lot of people, which ultimately I believe would hold them back, is this thought that, well, if it looks like I don't have it all going on, or I'm learning from others, that I'm really not the leader that I'm putting myself out there to be. And if that makes sense, you know.
It does. It's not, and this is like not a dissemination of specialties.
Yeah.
So it's not saying I do this and I do this and I do this and I do this, and people go, what the hell don't you do? Do you do things marginally well across the board and that's good enough? It is about zoning in on that specialty, on your leadership, and ensuring you're still delivering your objective, your mission, but you're continually learning about it. So you're not just throwing a bunch of stuff in the pot. Like, I'm making every kind of soup here. It's like, come on.
Yeah. So, well, you talked, you just referenced sick biz. So let's give the listeners a little context here to, maybe first of all, your story, what's going on, and what led you to sick biz, and then also, really what is that? And yeah, could you?
What the heck is it?
Yeah. Sick biz to me, like when I first heard it, is like sick, today's term slang is like cool business, right? Like that's so sick.
It is though. It has two meanings.
Yeah.
Exactly. And I love that about it, because I think there's a little bit of empowerment in there so that people can make it what they want to and personalize it. Yeah. So my story.
Yeah.
Is for 4+ years, I have had a disease called transverse myelitis, which is not as fun as it sounds. It's a sister disease to MS. It mimics all of the symptoms identically. I have a lesion in my spine, which means my body short circuits electrical signals all day long, which causes extreme fatigue, as in like, I'm laying down, I wish I was laying down. And I can lose feeling in my legs and stuff like that, which is why I use a wheelchair sometimes, which is super cool. And the wheelchair's name is Silver Bullet.
Silver Bullet.
Yes, an homage to Stephen King.
Yeah.
And so I lost my job. Like, I lost everything. I lost my job. I went on short-term disability. I didn't want to go on long-term disability, did not go on there. The first year I launched my business, I had 9 months of unemployment, and then just hustling and groveling and doing everything I could while sleeping 16 hours a day. And I'm telling you what, this illness saved my life. I was codependent. I was miserable. I was on the merry-go-round. Like, I want to belong to the Elizabeth Taylor fan club because I want to be the president. Like, free white diamond perfume for everybody. So it was just, I wanted healing. I wanted emotional healing so bad. I thought that I was trusting before my relationship, before any relationship, before my illness, and I wasn't. Because in my head, like, I was going through the motions and saying, will you pick up my kid, insert guy's name from the school? And they'd be like, yeah, I'll pick your kid up, whatever. And in my head, I would be like, okay, I have to talk to my boss and make sure that I've got a pocket of time carved out because this person is going to let me down, or whatever. Or I was extremely codependent on others. Should I wear this outfit? Oh, I don't look good in it. Okay. My entire wardrobe was basically black clothing because I wasn't comfortable. There were so many things that had to heal. I had an eating disorder for decades, absolute decades.
And this is all before.
Yep, all before.
Okay.
Yep. Because trusting, so what happened is I was able to find trust in my relationship. You don't have a choice. If somebody says, yeah, I'm going to take you to your neurologist appointment, I'm getting dinner on the table, and you're too sick, this was my hallmark moment. My defining moment was like, I cannot clean the kitchen. And then 5 months later, I can clean the kitchen. Like, I was so excited about that. But you don't have a choice. It's either somebody's going to show up and they're going to do what they say, or they're not going to do what they say. And when they do or they don't show up over and over and over and over again, then you get to decide. And it was like, I get to decide? I get to decide my circle? I get to decide my boundaries? I get to protect myself and make a decision and not care what anybody thinks? So that was the moment where I was like, wow, this is amazing. And then I hooked up with Ryan. And so it started out like, I have these bills, I need to make X amount, right? And get everything paid.
Yeah.
At some point it clicked and I was like, how much can I make? Not what do I have to make? Like, how much can I make? This is amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was a huge shift. My trust in my relationship with my husband led me to seek that in my business, because we all talk about scaling and all of these things. But if you have trust issues when you're trying to scale, like it's a disaster. So, and that led to sick biz, because once I got my feet under me, like literally and figuratively again, I wanted to create a business for chronically ill and disabled entrepreneurs, and we've now expanded that to include remote workers, because this is where you can go to find support hacks for managing a business, for living with diseases. It's a huge amount of support for people. Like, can you take a nap during the day? Can you work from your bed? Hell yeah, hell yeah. Like all the hell yeahs. You can do it your way. And there are over half of Americans who are sick right now. They are chronically disabled, according to the CDC. That's a 2014 statistic. So 4 years later, that is only uptrending, which means it's overdue.
Yeah.
This type of support is overdue. So Sick Biz is a nonprofit organization. We just sent in our paperwork to be the 501c3 like 2 days ago, and I was like, yes, because it's so, thank you. It's so much work. Articles of incorporation, bylaws, blah, blah, blah. I was like, I'm not learning this. You do it. So, yeah, it's been pretty amazing being, and this is what I mean by being open, to kind of loop back around to that. When something hits you, illness, death of a loved one, loss of a job, financial pain, we have a choice to say, oh, I'm going to get so angry about this. And I'm not saying don't be angry.
Yeah.
Take in the emotion, process it, release it. And if you have a hard time releasing it, probably talk to somebody about it to help you release it. But be open. Why is this in your life? Be open to the why. What can this do for me? What am I supposed to do with it? This is all about walking through pain into purpose. Pain is like a roadblock that's coming up and saying, you can't go any further. You have to go this way. And many, many people stand there at that roadblock and they try and dig it out, if it's rooted in the ground, and they try and move it and they try and get it, and they waste this time, when if they would say, and again, I'm not judging anybody, but I'm just saying this worked for me.
Yeah.
I looked at it and went, I'm not supposed to go there. I guess I'm supposed to go this way. Does it mean that there weren't moments where I was like, wow, this still really sucks? Of course there were, because I'm human. But I tried to go as willingly as possible to receive the gifts that come out of pain.
Yes, I love that. Your pain is maybe a little bit different than what I talk, and maybe it's not, but we talk, especially with our clients, all the time about in order to get to the prize of the possibility of what you truly want, you have to go through the pain. Like you can't, the pain cannot be avoided. The pain is like the price that you pay to get what you want. And the moment you could shift your perspective on how you look at the pain is the moment you will truly like get there faster. Like you hear in the military, a big motto was embrace the pain or embrace the suck, right? It's like, look at it as something that's going to get you what you want, instead of, in order to get what I want, I'd have to do this to get there.
Yeah.
That perspective, like you said. So, when you're talking about all of that, I'm thinking, especially from the leadership standpoint, but, and I'm not diminishing this by trying to make this parallel comparison, but I think of like in the NFL, because it's NFL season, coaches are constantly like, as a player, and you'll talk to players that have gone through, like my good friend and partner Inside of the Huddle, like the shirt here, Prosperity Revolution, Satem Ali, who played in the NFL. It's like, it's a business, right? Yeah. And the coaches, the GMs, the personnel staff, they're always assessing and evaluating what's going on. And then you can take that even to like, you make it to the pinnacle, you make it to your Super Bowl and you lose, everything goes wrong. And it's like, what the heck just happened? And, there's many that will take that and just continue to spiral down and play this guilt and shame and woe is me card for the rest of their life. And then there's others that will look at it as an opportunity to continue to get better, or maybe like the pain, the steps that you just have to go through to truly get what you want. And I kind of look at you, and you probably didn't do this day one, I'm guessing, but
No.
over a period of time, you assessed and evaluated what was going on, and you started to take maybe a little bit deeper look at your life. And I think you even referenced, I forget what the saying that you have, that you were talking about when you talked about the situation with Reince Goodman, and the question that you asked yourself. But
it is. How'd that work out for you last time?
how'd that work out for you last time? And just really kind of assessing what's going on in your life, what's not working, what are the opportunities that have now opened up to you because of your diagnosis, and what's going on in your life over the last 4 years.
Yeah, absolutely. It's finding the power. Pain has power, and pain is a teacher. And triggers too, that's a huge thing. Like, there's tremendous power in our triggers. If we look at why is this bothering me on such a deep level? Why was I triggered to have an eating disorder? Why am I triggered about certain types of relationships? Why do we have these triggers? If we examine those honestly in our lives, we will start to heal. And when we start to heal, we will experience abundance and prosperity, and not just financial abundance and prosperity. We will experience peace, self-love, acceptance, and even forgiveness of other people who didn't have the tools to love you in the way you needed to be loved. And that is the greatest gift of all, because you're not attached anymore. You're not attached to that pain. You're releasing it. So it's been phenomenal. And it's not something where it's like day one, you're like, oh, well, I got to do this, obviously. But it was like, I'm tired of sounding like a broken record. I got a bad childhood. I got a marriage go round. I'm a nervous parent. I got an eating disorder. I'm blah, blah, blah. Like, I'm just like, is this who I am? When we go to class reunions and people are like, hi, I'm CEO of a company. I'm like, hi, I'm a nervous wreck. Like, like it's okay to be sick of yourself.
Yeah.
It's okay. And then to do something about it. Yeah.
Yeah. So you've obviously taken a leadership role down that path because of what's happened to you, and in reaching out and realizing that there are probably others in similar situations to you out there, obviously, right? That's a tendency that a lot of people will have, and to think they'll take what's going on in their world and think that it's only them, kind of like you saying, going to the high school reunion, to have that mentality, when the reality is that everybody else there has got this big mask on, and they got all kinds of shit going on in their life too. And they're just not going to tell you about it. But for you, there's something inside of you that's like, I'm going to do something. I'm going to create this platform for others to come and to get support and to get learning, to continue to grow and expand, and figure out how we can, take this into our life and continue to move forward, and ultimately be better on the other side. So has that always been a part of who you have been? Has that been a piece that's really just come out and shine over the last 4 years? Is there times in your life where you've seen yourself taking on that leadership role in other times of your life?
I wanted to be a leader, and this is a funny story. So I was a contractor for Best Buy, and I'd work at the corporate office, and we had a flexible laptop lifestyle, and I wanted to be a leader, and I wanted to lead the team. I didn't want it for the right reasons. I can look back and I can see management going, no, because, and it was good they did, because they reined in a monster. Like, I was like, I want to be a leader so I matter, because I hadn't gone through the process of knowing I matter any damn way. I don't need that. I don't need an appointment. I don't need approval. Nobody does. And so I would have been a terrible leader, because it would all have been like self-aggrandizing. I'm wonderful, right? And now it's interesting, because it's a different type of effect. I've always enjoyed teaching people and training them. I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it when they're hands-on. I love it when they have questions and whatever. And this is a different type of leadership now. This leadership is helping to change lives. It is helping to give people hope again. It is, and we're working on developing more tools. And I keep talking about these training modules. I better get my own ass kicked this week. So, but we are working on providing value. And when you do that, and when you receive a message that says, oh my God, this is the group I've been looking for. Oh my God, I finally feel understood. Oh my God, it's okay to work from your bed. Dude, all day work from your bed. It doesn't matter. Wear what you want, but show up for your life. And so to see that you can have, or even just play a small part in people's stories is incredibly, I'm just filled with gratitude.
Yeah.
And it's an incredible gift to have. And I recognize it as a gift every single opportunity, every time I'm interacting with somebody, and it feeds me and it feels so good. It feels selfish where I'm like, wow, I have the most selfish habit ever. But it wasn't, I always wanted to speak on a bigger platform. But I wanted that because I had such terrible core self-esteem. And you know what I'm saying when I say that. Outside, bright, smiley face, everything's great, shake your hand. Inside, crumbling, who am I? Does this even matter? I don't impact people in any way. I'm not here for a reason. And when you get straight on that, you can move into, how can I help other people? And it's an amazing takeaway for your life.
Yes, I love that. I just last week's podcast guest, Travis Mash, he talked about the big shift that he had for him in becoming the leader he is today, and it was exactly that, taking the focus off of himself and putting it onto others, basically, which is exactly what you're talking about. You could really look at what you were talking about inside of Best Buy as, it was all about you.
Yes.
For the wrong reasons. And you can recognize that today. And I think I know I've experienced that. There's a part of you that, to be a leader is someone that people look up to, and some recognition and acknowledgement. And I don't know if that's inherently inside of all of us, but there's a piece of us that kind of wants some of that, right? And then as you get older and you grow and you learn, you realize what it's really all about and what's truly important. And then you're in a position to where you can take that role and go with it. What's the big vision for you in sick biz?
That is such a great question, and it evolves. It evolves the more that people come forward and say, and this is everybody's organization. Yeah. This is not just me saying, I'm sick, this is what I needed, so this is what we're going to have.
Yeah.
If people in the organization say, I want to do this, do it.
Yeah.
And I always tell them, as long as your heart's in the right place, ask for forgiveness later.
Yeah.
But do it. Take advantage of it. And I want people not to feel fearful, of sharing, of coming up with collaborative ideas. You are always welcome. So the vision is to keep learning from the people in the community and what they need, as we continue to answer that with more value. So if you lose your job, and it happens, and it's like one day you have a job, then you get sick, and the next day you don't have a freaking job. You don't have a job, but you still have a mortgage, and you still have kids that are, running around and shoving
that stuff doesn't stop too. That just keeps going.
It keeps going. Yeah. Try talking to your mortgage company about it. They're really not very open. Try talking to your cell phone company. Try talking to your, any of these bills. Like, you have to find a way. Being angry about it holds you back. And it takes your momentum away from you. So just deal with the anger, but just compartmentalize. Now we got to get to work. So, okay, great. Or channel the anger and, oh, you know what? Here's an example. I saw a centipede on my bedroom floor the other day. And I was outraged that he would share my space because he knows how freaked out I get. I angrily crushed him in a paper towel. So
teach him.
It will teach him. So you can use your anger. You can even use your sadness. You can use these things. These emotions are tools that can help to move you forward. So to answer your question in a tangential way, it is whatever needs to be provided. It is my job to provide it. I had somebody reach out on the website today and say, I'm interested in possibly getting into writing again. And she means writing for money. So what can we do to help her? And our big thing is that you can make a living wage. Design your life around your living wage. So in all ways, we have partnered with Worth Living, which is a huge mental health organization, global organization. So if you need help in any capacity, if you need help in reaching out to people in your community, just head on over to the Sick Biz resources page. We have coaching that's available, business and mindset coaching. We have a free financial 15-minute consultation and financial quizzes to help you understand where you are in your business. Our money coach comes on. Lisa Chastain is the Millennial Money Master. She's been on twice, and her last episode with us was, Are You a Big Fat Financial Liar? So we try to keep it playful and approachable. And we're just developing everything in every capacity that people need. You might, if you lose your job, you might be like, oh boy, there's only 3 things I can do from home. We have a PDF that lists 175 jobs you can do from home. That was built collaboratively by the community, by people saying, oh, but you could do this, you could do this, you could do this. All goes on the job board, which is phenomenal. We're supported by the Goodman Project. And in fact, I just started hosting a social interest group call once a week to address things like, how do I talk to my boss about disability? Or how do I talk to my clients about my chronic illness? How do we keep progressing the conversation? And we're also associated with a job board as well, where you can sign up. I believe the discount is 50%, and you can sign up. And as long as you're a lifelong member, that just keeps kind of rolling over annually, with actual jobs that are a living wage. None of this, work overseas for, $2 an hour and it's headed by the secretary on our board. So we're very serious about providing value. Up next, and we'll call you in for this, so get ready. We'll be doing some training modules on freshening up sales skills, on freshening up closing, on networking, on we'll even break it down into some of the media offerings, like how the heck do I write an email? How do I maintain a list? How do I start a blog? How do I monetize a blog? How do I approach people for sponsorship? How do I get a podcast going? It's these things that give people the tools that they need to run a profitable business. So whatever that looks like, and hopefully Sick Success is going to help to promote that message so that more people jump on board. That's the book. Yep, it's Sick Success, the entrepreneur's prescriptions for turning pain into purpose and profit. Yep, and it's dropping on, you can pre-order it, obviously.
Yeah.
And it's dropping on, but you have one because
I got one. This says for review only. I got the advanced reader copy, which makes me feel really special.
Well, it's because you are special.
I didn't realize that when you gave it, until I was looking at it today. I'm like, oh, hang on a second. Like this. Oh yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So that's the vision. The vision is to keep flexing and providing the resources that our community needs.
That is awesome. Yeah. And you have a podcast. You also have a podcast.
I have a podcast too. It's called The Sick Biz Buzz. Yeah. We just put our 50th episode in the tank.
Wow.
Which was amazing. And when I go back and listen to the first one, I was like, whoa, what is happening?
It's supposed to be that way though. It's supposed to suck in the beginning and get better over time.
There's your next blog post, by the way.
Yeah. Okay.
About embracing the suck. And then, totally. Oh my God.
What was I going to say? Can you, talk through just your journey in what you do as well, tell us what you do first of all, and how did that become a part of who you are and what you do?
Oh, for the profit part of my life, the part that I
Profit,
make
or
it.
I mean, just what do you do for a living, which is, tell us.
So I own and operate J-Hole Marketing and Creative Services. And so it's my personal involvement is in 3 areas: copywriting, copy editing, and book editing. Anything else that we take in, I use a team of subcontractors. They're wonderful people. I have a small team. I think there's only like 7 people on my team. And I know and I love every single one of them. They're just wonderful people. And so basically my marketing methodology is the crux of my business has come from referrals. And I'm very proud of that fact because it speaks to quality and it speaks to making sure that people are getting what they paid for and that I'm keeping my word. I mean, it's so simple. It's like, you want to run a profitable business, just keep your word. It's like,
Do what you say you're going to do when you're going to do it. Really?
Yeah,
That's
exactly. Weird. And you know what? That's like how you get A's in school too.
Yeah.
My kids I had one kid was like, Mom, I figured out there's 27 assignments this year and I have to do them all to get an A+, okay? And so if I only do X amount of them, I can get by with a D. And I was like, what are you doing?
No.
No. Like, props for creativity, but
in the system, figuring the system out early. Yeah.
Yes. And now we just laugh at it. We're like, do you remember how you were like trying to game the system? And I'd be like, you know what, you were off a little bit, so you actually need to do more work or whatever. But yes, so that's what I do. I love it. I have grown it from my first client was a national hotel chain. And so it wasn't Ryan. It was a national hotel chain. How did I get these businesses working from my bed? Great question. So I'm going to share the message, and it's in the book too, is that 250 people. You do. They're on LinkedIn, they're on your Facebook, people you've worked with, etc., people you want to work with. So send them an email, and not a template email of like, insert name here. No. Like, hey, Joe, how's it going? I really miss seeing you at the coffee shop every day. How's your wife? How's your kids? Blah, blah, blah. This is what's happening with me. I know it's been 12 years. So do you want to work together? You have to do that. You have to get over how weird it is. Sometimes in my messages to people, I'll just blah, 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 get it all out, whatever. I love you. I want to work with you. This is what the end result is going to be. And at the end, I'll go, I know this is weird, LOL. So
that's great. Relieve the tension a little bit.
Yes, because that's what they're thinking. They're thinking, well, this is really odd. This woman is reaching out and she hasn't. Yeah. But when you need to pay the bills and you need to feed your kids, and this is what I told my kids. We lost our house, and I said, we may have lost our house and your bedrooms and we were in our house for 12 years and I loved it. I was like, you're going to have to pry my house out of my cold, dead hands. Yeah. And so we lost it. And I told my kids, but you are not going to have to go to a different school. So I will drive you. Since the school bus won't pick you up, we're in a different district. I'm going to drive you. I'm going to figure out how to do that. And we did that. Yeah. And I was really proud of doing that. So you're going to do everything you possibly can. We don't have time for self-doubt. And I know sometimes, especially with people who may have, they may be struggling with mental illness, disorders or whatever, right? Your brain wants to turn on you. But understand, too, the more negativity that you feed it, the deeper the grooves in your brain go. So you're naturally going to go there. Instead of saying, wow, it rained on my parade. That's totally great. Now I can go to my favorite coffee shop and snuggle down next to the fireplace. Yeah. You are prone to say immediately, wow, it rained on my parade. Everything sucks in my life. Screw this day. Because that is what you are teaching yourself to say over and over and over again. We don't have time for that. So even if you have to say it out loud as you're typing, I'm typing this wonderful message about me. I'm so excited, just to drown out those doubts so you get it done. It doesn't have to be perfect. It doesn't have to, use Grammarly if it's for business, right? But it doesn't have to be perfect. It doesn't have to have like a beginning, middle, and end. It doesn't, just do it. People have more respect for imperfect action than they do for inaction.
Yeah, 100%. I love that. And yeah, that is definitely how I live. I just too stupid to quit. And I love, you talk about, again, I think of that as kind of that fork in the road. You can have the mindset to go down the path that many go down, or you can go down the path the championship leaders do, which is to just take what comes at you and continue moving forward no matter what. And that's, to really truly get what you want in life. You expect things to not go the way that you would wish they would. And then you're prepared to handle those situations when they happen.
Yeah.
And the true championship leaders in any industry, any area of life are going to do that. Like, I think that's probably one key trait or characteristic that you will see in all successful leaders is how they handle adversity, if you will.
Totally. And it's I read this article yesterday. It's on zenhabits.net, and it's Leo Babauta, and I probably butchered his name.
I love it.
But it is about why it's the arguing the case against going for conformity or optimizing your life. So when we optimize our life, we're always like, I need it to be perfect. I need it to be this. I need it to be that. Yes, we always want to shoot for that, right? But we also want to be nimble and say, I'm prepared. It's like yesterday I gave the 1 min sick biz tip, right? This is a tip I give every day. Yep. It forces me to sit down and keep my promise to people. Sometimes I'm like, what am I going to talk about today? Oh my God. And it was all about, are you ready for opportunity? So what are you doing to prepare for opportunity? On the flip side, so you don't lose everything and lose your marbles and lose your footing, what are you doing to prepare for adversity? And it's almost like life is a balance. It's like, I'm going to prepare for opportunity, but I'm also not going to let myself be blindsided. Yeah. So I loved that. Yeah, I loved that article. And it just was like this click in my head. It takes a little bit of pressure off you too, because type A is a really tough way to live. I shoot for type A relaxed, man.
Yeah.
Yeah,
for sure. Yeah. What would be we're getting near the end here, but what would be one, I know you talked about with Stuman a little bit, but is there another, point in your life where really, you're at that fork again and because you are the championship leader that you are, you chose to take that path less traveled, but is there a moment that really sticks out in your life that you could talk to the listeners about to give an example? Yes.
This moment is a little painful.
Yeah.
It's a decision that I stand by. It's the decision that more people need to make, in my opinion, and it regards cutting out toxic people. Mm-hmm. I think there's a big misunderstanding. Now, in my case, I have some family members and friends that this pertained to. Mm-hmm. And it doesn't mean you don't love them. It doesn't mean you don't have memories with them, that you don't wish them the best. It simply means that you're either limiting contact because of what it does to you, if it holds you back, if it hurts you to a degree that you can't move forward, if it's codependent, a codependent-based relationship. I had to stick by that. That was a very, very difficult choice. I don't do ultimatums. I don't do ongoing. And I believe in you get one shot to screw up with somebody. Okay, big screw up. Wow, I totally had just a huge mistake. I'm sorry, I hurt you. Okay, great. The people that you're closest to are more likely to hurt you more than other people, just by the very essence of being a human being, being a fumbling human being, being panicky animals, right? If you do it twice, that's a pattern. Bye. Gotta go. And it is okay to stand by that decision. And it's not going to kill you. It is going to kind of wilt you a little bit. But again, that's in your control.
Yeah.
And it's not saying don't have emotions about it. Don't have feelings about it. Don't reject what's coming at you. Take responsibility for your actions, for your contributions. Don't own anybody else's actions. And if it's a situation where you can't participate in the relationship without being like lambasted, you need to go. You need to get out. And I saw a meme the other day. I always feel like the universe is talking to me through memes. I'm like, oh.
That was meant just for me.
Yeah, and yes. And so the meme was, and maybe it was even somebody posting it, and I wish I could remember, but people complain about Facebook and the content they have on it. This is so negative, so-and-so's bitching, blah, blah, blah. Facebook's a mirror.
Yeah.
You know, it's this incredibly ornate machine that delivers right back to you.
It does. Exactly what you want, what you hone in on, what you like, what you comment on. Yeah.
And it can be a list for you too. Facebook can comprise a list to say, this person's toxic. I did not get anything out of this relationship. This person is looking for ways to make other people feel bad, the trolls, the whatever the case is. And then you can use it as a list to say, I don't want that. I'm controlling what comes into my world. You also have a right to never make a decision. Your decision can be to do nothing. You don't even have to participate. Somebody can say, bap, 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 bap to you. And you can go, not even, it's not worth your energy. It's not worth that enervating, sapping sensation to participate in that. So much like a lot of people in the mastermind that we're in, we've had to make difficult decisions about who you surround yourself with, because there's no way I could sit here with you today, still have those people in my life, and still have this perception and this ability to know how I am supposed to serve if I hadn't done that.
Yeah. Yeah, so that's what it's really done for you, is opened up, who you are today and the path that you're on. Is that what you're saying?
It is what I'm saying, because
those were difficult decisions, I would imagine. Painful probably too, right? Yeah, I mean.
Painful, but at the same time, and this was surprising, the pain was less than the relief.
Yeah.
It was really an interesting dichotomy, because I was like, okay, I expected to be walloped. I expected to be punched in the gut and the heart, and I was to some degree, but at the same time, I was like, oh God, that the weight is off. I don't give a shit. Like I can drift. I can discover.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Right? Without making apologies for being a human being. I'm not a terrible human being. I'm not running a crack den. I'm not running, dog fights. Like, I'm not a terrible human being. But sometimes people, in trying to shape you, or they may have a vision for you, like, I see you doing this. So it comes out as criticism, or they think you need to hear it. Those are the people that you just either need to say, hey, I'm done. We can continue being in the same circle, whatever, but you need to stop that. Or if it's more intense, to say, you can't be here.
Yeah.
You can't be here. And I've had people ask me to participate in those same types of relationships. And I'm telling you what, when you do the work, it's like, I can't go back in time. I can't unlearn the ability to have a healthy relationship and even begin to participate to that degree anymore. I'm not going to be a screaming rage-a-maniac. I left her behind for a reason. She was hurting me.
Yeah.
and hurting other people. And I can't even entertain the notion of doing that. And it doesn't hurt to say that. It's just like, that's weird. Why would I, like, why would I do that? That's weird.
That's yeah. Thank you for sharing that. I think we all have those people that we either tolerate, and most of us probably just do tolerate, right? Because we are afraid to confront it or to actually make the decision to cut it. So,
Yeah.
But championship leaders are definitely the ones that make difficult decisions for the betterment of the team, or for themselves, or for their vision, or for their life that they want. So
yeah,
I love that. So thank you. And that's a great place to wrap this up. You have a lot of stuff going on. We've already talked about it. We're going to make sure that we get all of these amazing resources and links available to our listeners in the show notes. But yeah, tell us, Six Success is the book coming out. How do we get our hands on that? Maybe, a few other ways that we can follow you and keep up with the amazing work that you do.
Awesome. Thank you. Yeah. Six Success you can find on Amazon. It's a pre-order. Some special people get advanced review copies.
Only special.
Only special, right? We have a podcast that you can follow as well. That's Sick Biz Buzz. It's available on Stitcher, iTunes. You can also catch it on sickbiz.com. We have an app that allows you to download the podcast, the job board, multiple resources to help you, or anyone else you know, or even if you just want to support the community, you can text SickBiz to 36260. So those are probably the best ways to get in touch, because you can send me an email through the website sickbiz.com and pick it up from there. My marketing site, and I also have a blog called Quill Power, which is located at jhill with 2 L's mark.com, and you can get me that way too. I'm totally open.
That's right. And maybe if I'm lucky enough, I already got the book. Maybe someday I'll be lucky enough to be on that podcast of yours. We'll see.
You will be on the podcast.
My toes.
This is a look into the future. Yeah, we'll set that up as soon as we hang up, because we talk about 18 times a day.
Yeah.
So we'll set that up. I'm so honored that you had me on, and I'm so honored to be even a small part in your story, because you're doing amazing things. And thank you so, so much, Nate.
Yeah, thank you. Feeling is definitely mutual, and excited to see where we continue to go here together, and to ultimately impact lives of others across the world. So thank you so much.
You bet. Have a great day.